There are games that entertain, there are games that impress you, and then there are games that quietly sit with you. Detroit Become Human is one of those games. On the surface, it's a science fiction thriller set in a near future Detroit, where androids say serve humanity in almost every aspect of life. They cook, they clean, they take care for their children, and silently absorb abuse with a programmed smile. But beneath that futuristic setting lies something far more uncomfortable. Detroit isn't really about androids. It's about us as human beings. It's about control, about fear of the other, about what happens when intelligence is no longer exclusive to humanity and when obedience begins to crack. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the review for Detroit Become Human, a game that changed my perspective and outlook on AI and just robotics and androids in general. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, please make sure to stick around by subscribing so you can know when I drop the next video and liking this video so more people can find this video. Let's get into it. Detroit's greatest strength is how close it feels to reality. This isn't some distant sci-fi fantasy filled with aliens and impossible technology. It's a world that feels like the logical next step from where we already are. The streets are familiar, the politics are familiar, the prejudice is familiar. Androids are treated as tools, spoken to like machines, discarded like trash, blamed for society's problems. And the scariest part is how natural it all feels, how easily humanity justifies cruelty when the victim is labeled as less than. As you walk through this world, you don't just observe injustice, you participate in it, or you resist it. And every decision, no matter how small, leaves a ripple, leaves some kind of problems. Detroit doesn't ask you to save the world. It asks you to answer a question. What does it mean to be human? You explore this question through three characters, each representing a different response to oppression. Connor, the android detective whose logic incarnate. He exists to follow orders, to analyze, to succeed, and yet with every mission you feel a quiet tension beneath his perfectly calm exterior. It's not about rebellion at first. It's about doubt, about what happens when a machine starts questioning its own purpose. Every choice with Connor feels like a battle between efficiency and empathy. And the terrifying part, the game never tells you which one is right. It's all on you. You are the one who makes choices for these androids and for just everybody in the game. This is basically a reflection of you, your insecurities, your doubts, your hopelessness, or your hope in humanity and in life. Whereas Marcus is the symbol, the leader, the one forced to decide whether freedom is earned through peace or violence. His journey mirrors real world revolutionaries, and the weight placed on his shoulders is crushing. Marcus doesn't just lead androids, he defines what they become: terrorists or martyrs, victims or warriors, hope, fear. You see the struggle internally in Marcus. Even as an android, you can see it in him when you are just having conversations with his owner, or when you're finally leading this revolution, trying to make the world better by helping all the other androids that are suffering. Marcus, to me, is the pivot. He is the center. He is the anchor of the story. Without him, I just don't see it ending the way it does. And then there's Kara. Kara's story is the quietest and somehow the most devastating. No speeches, no revolutions, just survival. A mother figure protecting a child in a world that doesn't care if either of them exists. This, for some people, can hit close to home because a lot of people may experience such things in their own homes, in their own lives, with their own fathers, mothers, or whoever is in their life taking care of them and helping them. She reminds us that humanity isn't always found in grand gestures. Sometimes it's found in holding someone's hand when the world is falling apart, like she does with the child that she takes care of, because she feels that need to take care of this human being who is so fragile and doesn't understand the world. This all coming from an android. Whereas her father, who riddles himself with drugs and numbs himself from his pain and from his bad decisions and takes out his frustration, his anger, and his failure on his daughter, showing that man can be good, but man can also be evil machine that does nothing but destroy. Not destroy only the world, but destroy himself as well, slowly, internally, a destruction that has a ripple effect that can affect anyone and everyone in their lives. The choices that actually hurt. Detroit Become Human is a game about choices, but not the kind that feel cosmetic. These choices hurt. There are no obvious right answers. Every decision feels incomplete, flawed, and deeply human. Save one life and another may be lost. Choose peace and innocent people may suffer. Choose violence and you may become the very thing you're fighting against. The game doesn't punish you for making bad choices. Instead, it forces you to live with them by seeing the consequences of these choices in your actions. And that's what makes Detroit so special. When the consequences unfold hours later, when a character remembers your actions or a city reacts to your decisions, you realize this isn't a power fantasy. It's a responsibility. It's a mirror of reality. Detroit Become Human doesn't preach, doesn't give you a moral compass. It gives you a mirror. You see your fears reflected in Connor, your anger reflected in Marcus, your compassion reflected in Kara. And when the game ends, you don't ask, did I win? You ask yourself, did I do the right thing? Because every choice is not easy. Every choice comes with its own problems. You feel burdened as much as these androids that you play as. You feel the fear of Connor of making any kind of mistake and costing somebody's life. You feel the anger of Marcus in seeing his fellow androids being treated like animals, being treated like dirt, like trash, and you want nothing but to save them. But you also don't want to hurt human beings because you know that's not the way to go. You see the compassion and sadness and care because you are trying your best to be the best version of yourself, not just for you, but for the people that you take care of, the people that you love. And even after all of that, you're still not sure whether the choices and decisions that you made were right. This game forces you to sit down and really think. It's not a game that you can just run around and shoot people or just do whatever you want. This is not a Grand Theft Auto. This is not a Red Dead Redemption. This is not a Last of Us. This is not even an Uncharted. This game has real consequences, real life issues, real problems that we ourselves may face in the future. Granted that technology advances the same way it did in the game. This game makes you question yourself and makes you ask the important question. Who am I? And what do I want really with my life? What makes Detroit unforgettable isn't its branching paths or stunning visuals, though both are remarkable. It's the way it trusts the player to think, to feel, and to sit with discomfort. This is a game that understands something important. Humanity isn't defined by perfection. It's defined by choice, by doubt, by empathy, and sometimes by failure. Detroit Become Human doesn't tell you what kind of future awaits us. It asks you, what kind of future would you choose for yourself, by yourself? And maybe that's why, long after the controller is set down, when you're just looking at the credits rolling, the game still lingers inside of you. Because in trying to understand androids, we end up learning something about ourselves, about humanity, and why us as humans cannot work together to create a loving and living place for ourselves that we can call home. This has been an amazing review. This is a game I've been wanting to play for the longest time. And I'm glad I was able to play it, and I'm glad that I was able to experience this journey and now share that with you. Hope you guys can end up playing this game yourselves. And please let me know your thoughts about it if you have played it in the past, or if you're playing it right now, what your thoughts are about it. I would definitely recommend this game. I would actually give it a 10 out of 10 for its storytelling. Amazing storytelling. But that's the end of this video. That's all I have for you folks. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe with the notification bell on, share this with your friends. Until then, that's it from CD, signing out. Peace.